Come on in here, sir. You can grab those right there. All right, put that right up next to your mouth. All right, so we have never met. I'm Craig.
Alan Blair.
Alan Blair, good to meet you, man. So we were just asking. It's like you just won the cruise.
Yep.
That may not help. I think it's going to be that one right there. You may have to kind of hold it up. Are you trying to get out of here?
There we go.
In a minute. Can I give you a card? Thank you so much. All right. So JoJo was telling me a little bit about this. Tell us how you even ended up here tonight, because I think it was kind of a random.
Well, Tony Bradley, who's my old girlfriend from 40 years ago, she called me up and she said, I've been looking at some networking events, and we literally did a search on networking in the Woodlands.
Uh-huh.
And this popped up. And she said, we should go to that. And I'm like, okay. So we went. Here we are.
Is she here?
She just left.
She just
walked
left.
off. Yeah.
Okay, so what does she do?
She's a real estate investor.
Oh, real estate investor.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, this is the Homeowner Show, in case you didn't know.
Oh, okay. Well, wow. So do I get a plug too?
Absolutely. Yeah. What do you do?
I own a company called Texas Energy Saver. I'm a division of Power, which is the 43rd fastest growing company in America. And we do solar.
You do solar?
Yeah, we do solar.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it. I went to school for it and everything. And
so do you guys just work with one brand, or you guys kind of like, let's look at the spectrum and see what's going to work for you?
That's what I like about the company I got with. They train us. They've got more. They offer more different products than anyone else. They're just a really super good company. And I'm excited about working with them.
Well, I'm actually really excited that you're here. I have lots of questions about solar, if you don't mind.
No, lay it on me, man.
All right. So what are some things happening in Texas right now that maybe a lot of people don't realize are happening with solar?
Well, one thing is the credit just went up. The federal tax credit is now 30%, dollar per dollar.
Okay.
You can write off 30% of your system if you buy a solar system.
So right off the top?
Right off the top.
Is that in the first year, or?
You can do it you can amortize it over a few years.
Okay.
So, yeah. Also, the great thing about it is we say, you don't rent your car and you don't rent your home, so why rent your power? And you know it's going to keep going up. So when you get into a solar deal, you have a set price. It never goes up. And once you've paid the loan off, you own the panels, so you're not paying a power bill anymore.
Okay.
But you start right out paying less money than what you do for your power. I literally had a friend call me today that said no just a month ago, and he got a bill today because his power rate went up, and he got a $593 bill, if I remember correctly. And he called me and goes, my bill's $593. Can we talk about that solar now? Yeah, because I can cut that in half.
Yeah, I think it was 2 months ago, I had a $900 power bill.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do about it.
Yep.
So we've looked into solar before. The issue I've run into, and maybe you can help me with this, is I'm with a company that doesn't sell back to the grid. I get credit, but I don't. Yeah, they won't buy back.
Most companies don't. Now they give you a credit.
But
but that's good, because if your system, if the company you work with puts together the correct system, you have what's called 100% offset. And that means that during the day, your system creates more power than you use, and that goes back to the grid and you get a credit. So at night, when those panels are not making power, you're running off the grid on those credits that you have.
Okay. Yeah, because, you still get like a grid charge every month, right? That's just standard.
Well, it depends. Yeah, some people say, well, I got a $20 a month, and then I see people's bills that are negative because the
credit rolls.
Yeah,
okay.
The power company still owes them. So
yeah.
So it's a really, really good thing. What got me in it was that last summer I was living up in Fort Worth, and they were warning us of power rationing and brownouts, which means they're going to cut your power off in the middle of the day when it's 100 degrees.
Right.
And my girlfriend and I started panicking and buying window air conditioning units and generators and stuff. And, of course, winter before last, if you remember right here in the Houston area, there was a freeze that lasted like a week.
Yep.
Power outage and a freeze that lasted like a week. And so I guess realized they're not reliable. The power companies are not reliable. And then they built these big wind farms up in North Texas and West Texas. Drove by one just a week ago. There wasn't a single blade turning. And they're saying that's the reason for the power rationing this summer. If they had
because they're not generating
because they're not generating any power.
Yeah.
So
well, that's I mean, like obviously wind's not going to be as reliable as solar. I mean, the sun, come up every morning for at least the last 6,000.
and everything has a carbon footprint, and creating these solar panels also has a carbon footprint. But the company that I'm with, the company I was mentioning, Power, they give back, they plant trees, they do a lot of things to offset the carbon footprint of manufacturing solar panels.
Sure.
So it's a very good thing.
Because it's expensive to manufacture those things for sure.
Yeah. And it's blowing up right now. Everyone's like, wow, I can't believe all the people that I'm meeting, and they say, what do you do? I'm in solar. It's like, what? Give me your business card. I've been looking into that, but I don't know who to go with. And
I think that's the big problem with solar in general is, like, I think most people want to know somebody, but rather than just have like a stranger come into their home and like, let me see your power bill and let me, and so it's just weird. It's a weird sort of relationship when you're like, I'm going to spend $80,000
right
on a solar system and I don't know you.
Yeah,
that's a big chunk of change.
And you know what? Honestly, I get a lot of traction from being a veteran and being a former Special Forces. Right?
I was going to ask you because I see the hat.
Yeah, people see that and they're like, "Yeah, man, I'll do business with you." And I'm just like, "Wow, cool." But I'm very big on ethics and honesty, and that's why I wanted to go with this company. They give us a lot of great training. I want to make sure I know what I'm doing when I go see somebody. I don't even want to accidentally lie to them. I want them to get the best deal they can get and save money, and that's gratification at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, if I can ask, where have you been stationed?
Oh my God, where hadn't I been stationed? Well, I've been all over the world, but mostly on the West Coast.
West Coast?
Yeah.
So I have a good buddy. He was underwater demolitions down in Key West.
Yeah, and that's what they used to call SEAL before they called it the SEAL team. It was called UDT. And in 1967, if I remember correctly, is when they changed the name to SEAL.
Yeah. So he actually, so like most people don't realize that Key West is sort of divided into two islands.
Yeah.
Because there's the naval base and then there's actually like, where everybody else hangs out. So he took me over to the naval base, and I didn't realize that like underwater demo actually trained actual seals and dolphins to do a lot of their underwater demo stuff.
Yeah.
And so he kind of took me through and showed me all that kind of stuff.
And the training is pretty amazing. It's tough too. I met an Army.
It's not as tough as the stuff you went through, I would imagine, but it's very
tougher.
similar.
Yeah. I met an Army Ranger recently, and he goes, "Hey man, we did all the same training that you guys did." I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "How many times did you swim through fire?" And he looked at me and he said, "What? Swim through fire? We didn't swim through fire." I said, "That's right. So be careful when you're trying to compare notes with a SEAL, because we had to swim through fire."
Yeah, absolutely. And they drown you guys.
Literally.
Yeah. Like multiple times, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. If you're a good enough swimmer, you know how to handle
Yeah.
that.
Well, there was a, not to get off topic, but I was listening to, are you familiar with Steve Rinella? Meat Eater. It's a show on Netflix.
Oh,
no, it's a hunting thing.
Okay.
So he's recently got into like spearfishing. Mm-hmm. And they've started this whole other podcast telling like really scary stories of things that happen. Oh, thank you. Out in the wild. And one of them was a spear fisherman, and these guys who do these deep dives, and like it's like these guys are going down like over 100 feet free diving.
Oh yeah.
And he was this.
We did a lot of that.
Oh, I would imagine you did.
Yeah.
And he was talking about this one guy was telling a story about how he ended up having to like spear his friend through the leg in order to get him back to the surface because he was too far away from him and he had blacked out in the water.
Yeah.
And he was too far away to swim to him and actually survive the resurface. So he speared him in the leg and then resurfaced and then dragged him up. And I didn't realize that like the human body had this like reaction where it actually like shuts down breathing at a certain point and like it's like a survival mechanism that the body knows it's underwater and won't breathe until it can't do it without oxygen anymore, and that's when you drown.
Yeah, and I went through a similar event. My equipment failed.
Oh.
And I was about 120 feet and my equipment failed, and so I literally drowned and swallowed a bunch of water, but the guy I was with was just a good enough frogman that he pulled me into the boat, and they pumped the water out of me and did CPR and got me back on. And then he broke it to me. We got to get you a new tank, and we have to go back down again because...
Like as soon as they revived you, we got to get you a new tank and go back.
You have to come up slowly, and you have to come up distances at a time because nitrogen will gather in your blood, and you'll get what's called the bends.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah,
yeah.
the bins can kill you, and it can strike you right at that moment, or it can strike you 2 days later.
Oh.
But it didn't hit me, so when he revived me and got all the water out, and I got through throwing up all the water, he put a tank on me, and we went back down and decompressed properly coming up, so that I made sure that I wasn't going to get the bins.
Oh. And and correct me if I'm wrong, the bends is what you get when you come up too fast.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right, yeah.
And that's what you're just describing, the nitrogen in your blood and all
Yes.
that. Okay.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was in the Philippines, actually, when that happened.
Oh,
I was
really?
pleasure diving.
Oh, just for fun?
Yeah, but the equipment failed, yeah.
Dang. So how long have you been out now?
I've been out for about 40 years.
Have you really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you don't look a day over 20.
I'm an old man. I still do the gym 5 days a week.
There you go.
I take care of myself, and so.
Well, most guys that I meet that come out of systems like that, it just doesn't leave their system. I mean,
No,
you know, it's just part of who they are for the rest of their
I'm
lives.
very disciplined, and I've never lost that. And
Yeah.
I still, like I say, go to the gym 5 days a week, and even people I know are just like, dang, dude, how do you do it? I push myself. And I believe that a truly successful person strives for success in every aspect of their life, their health, their business, their mindset, everything, their love life, everything.
Mm. Well, do you mind if I circle back around to solar real quick?
No, go right ahead.
Oh yeah. Excuse me. One of the things I was going to ask you is, how important is it for people nowadays to look at a secondary system for their solar, meaning like a battery backup or a generator backup? How important is that for you when you're talking to new customers?
Okay, I think it's important to me, but a lot of customers will just get the panels. What people don't know, or what most people don't know, if you buy just the panels and you don't have backup batteries or you don't have a generator, then if the grid goes down, so does your house.
So does your
Even
house,
though
yeah.
you've got the panels, because you're connected to the grid, they shut you down.
Because it's not point to point.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you have a battery system and the power goes out, your house is still running, and it's running off those batteries. And it can run off those batteries for 20, 24 hours, which is enough, because when the sun comes back up, your panels are charging those batteries again.
Right.
So yeah, most people don't realize that, but currently the battery technology, though it's good technology, it's very expensive. So for most people, it makes more sense to buy a generator, a Generac, or something to that effect.
Like a natural gas kind of a deal if you have
That's
access.
the best way to go, the natural gas, because then if you have gas in your home, you can literally route it to your generator,
Right.
and you never run out, no matter what the outage is. You're not carrying around a bunch of gas cans or keeping those stored in your garage, which can be dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So,
dude, so the guy that co-hosts the show with me, he recently sold his house, and before they closed on the house, the lady that was buying his house moved in a bunch of lawn equipment to the interior of the home, like gas cans, lawnmowers, and all this kind of stuff. And so like he was going back to pick up a couple of things. He shows up and there's all these gas cans like inside his house that they haven't closed on. And he's like, what the hell is this? Like there's combustibles inside my home that I still own.
yeah, yeah.
And this lady's just moving this stuff in here. People don't realize like it's just not a good idea.
Wow. And another thing people don't know about solar, I get questions about it, was like, wait a minute, if I buy this solar, what happens when I sell my home? Well, solar adds 4 to 6% on the value of your home.
Okay.
And since it's a fixed price, anybody who does a little bit of research realizes it's better to have that solar, so your house will sell 20% faster on average than a home that doesn't have it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you get a fixed payment. You're not paying a super high electricity bill, and the payment never goes up.
Well, because I assume most people that sell their home pay off the solar before they with the note.
No, they roll the loan right over to the new buyer.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah, you can do that. That's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Are most buyers willing to do that?
That's a good question.
Don't know?
I'm going to guess that most do, and if they look at it, we call this a no-brainer because, a friend of mine's just today quoted him on one because his light bill came in, it was so high, but if you're paying $420 on the loan for your panels, but your monthly bill is between $400 and $800,
right?
You're paying $600-700 average. Then why wouldn't you want to do it? It never goes up, and they say that power companies go up about 4% per year on their rates. Right now, the average is about 16%. And we have a little slider on our presentations, and you roll it up to 5 years and 10 years, and you see how fast those bills go up. So solar just makes sense.
For sure. Is there anything else that people need to be aware of? I mean, I know you said it's 30% right off the top, right?
30% tax credit.
Tax credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that state? Is that federal?
It's federal.
Federal. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So is there anything Texas is doing to incentivize people right now?
Depending on the county you live in, some may have an extra incentive.
Okay. Do you know of any, like, is Montgomery County doing anything? Or
I don't think they are.
What about Harris County?
I don't think Harris is either, actually. But with a 30% tax credit, if you pay $100,000 for your system, you can literally get a tax credit of $30,000. It's dollar per dollar. It's not a write-off. It's a tax credit.
Yeah, which is, I mean, like with what you said earlier, that if you can amortize that over several years, I mean, like, that could be really valuable.
Yeah, because then you're never paying taxes, at least for several years or whatever.
Right.
And I've literally had customers come to me and go, wow, I need this because I've got a lot of business taxes.
Yeah.
So a gentleman in here that's got the air conditioning company, he owns his building. He saw my card and he was like, yeah, we're going to talk. I'm like, okay.
Is it this guy right here? Jehu?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Is.
Yeah,
Jehu, that's him. Yeah, he wears that ball cap well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Super nice fellow.
He does all my AC work, man. He's fantastic. He's been on the show a couple of times.
Very nice.
Very good guy. So yeah, if he wants to work with you, I encourage it.
Yeah, we give $1,000 referral fee too.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody that refers a job and we sell it, then it's $1,000.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it.
Well, so what else? What other things about solar should people be aware of right now that maybe they don't know?
It's growing really, really fast. And with the prices of power continuing to rise, you might as well do it now, because it's at some point you're going to want to get it. And the predictions are, and these are predictions, you know how that works, is that most of America will have solar panels at some point.
Okay.
Most American homes will have them.
Yeah.
And we're right in the boom stages of solar right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so are you seeing prices across the board kind of remain steady? Are they going down, going up? What are you seeing with what's happening with the prices of the actual product?
The prices have been staying pretty steady. One of the things we're starting to see now is these rising interest rates. That's
so that's affecting people's.
Yeah, except when you see that your bill is going to be this, and it's a couple of $100 a month less than what you're paying.
Right.
That interest rate is not as big of a deal now.
Yeah, but I do think that's something important for people to pay attention to. I saw something the other day. It was like somebody who bought like a $600,000 house back in I think it was like 2019, right before COVID hit, is paying the same mortgage rate as someone who bought a $335,000 house right now.
Whoa.
Just because of interest rates.
Interest rates, yeah.
Because it went from like 2% to like 6.5%.
Yeah.
And that just drastically changed the payments that you'd be making on a 30-year mortgage. And so, which, I mean, like, that's insane.
It is insane. Absolutely. Yeah.
But like I think it was Einstein that pointed out, like, compound interest is like one of the most powerful forces in the world.
Yeah, and when we do an analysis and we do a great interactive presentation, it's very comprehensive thanks to technology and satellites and stuff. And we show on there what your loan, the total of your loan is going to be, but we also show what you pay if you pay cash. And some people will pay cash and just purchase a system. It's a big difference, though.
Oh, yeah.
Big difference.
I mean, if you have the cash, it makes complete sense.
Sure. If you've got that kind of money, sure.
Absolutely. So, okay, well, I've got your card here, but if people want to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
They can go to txenergysaver.com. That's txenergysaver.com.
Okay.
Shoot us a note. We'll give you a call back.
All right. And if they want to get a hold of you, do they email you? Do they?
They can email me at alan@txenergysaver.com, and that's ALAN.
Okay.
Yep. Or they can call 682-243-0631.
Awesome. I appreciate you sitting down with us today.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me.
And congratulations.
This has been a great networking event. It's my first time here. I'm totally impressed. I met lots of great people. Made some great connections and everything, and then I won the doggone trip. I won the cruise.
Do you know where you're going? Where you want to go?
Oh, she told me, but you know what? I was so in la land at that point. All I was thinking about was which girl I'm going to take.
No,
I mean, honestly,
the choices are endless.
Yeah. I'm an old dude. I still do okay with the women. So,
Mazel tov.
That's it, man. All right.
So, well, man, I appreciate you jumping on, and it's really, really good to meet you.
Thanks. Great meeting you. Y'all have a great evening.
Thank you, and thank you for your service.
Okay.
All right, guys. If you haven't had a chance yet, subscribe. Homeowner Show on YouTube, on Facebook. Follow the net or any of these businesses that you see behind me, or really any of the ones that you can't see because you can't see all of them in the video shot. Thank you guys so much for joining us at this live event tonight, and we'll catch you next time.